So the past couple of days, the Hollywood bubble popped. Just like that. And we know that there's a lot of celebrities out there. There's a lot of those that are either actors, actresses, singers, performers, directors, producers, or whatever it may be, that are really beginning to attack the general public and really becoming quite unhinged, to say the least. We know that there's a lot of top A-lister actors out there that are beginning to break down. I'm sure that you all saw what happened with Jimmy Kimmel, and among others like Julia Roberts, George Clooney. And about George Clooney, we have a lot more to talk about him, by the way, about what's been going on in the last couple of days and how he's been reacting to that, how he, of course, has been blaming the general public to a degree and really trying to essentially play the blame game train like many celebrities have. Now, what's interesting about this is that we know that the Hollywood bubble, the film industry, whatever have you, has always been flawed, alright? It's been like this for a very long time, since well over 10 years ago, and it's only been getting worse. I think, if anything, we need a new Hollywood that comes from independent creators and producers to kind of do their own thing and their own spin on projects. But I digress. Focusing on George Clooney here, alright? Now, you could say whatever you want to say about George Clooney as an actor, that's fine and all, but when it comes down to how he views the general public, this is where I think he's truly deranged and where he truly does not know what he's talking about, and how he really is getting a little bit unhinged than he normally would be, and how you would normally expect him to be. Now, what's interesting about this moving onwards is that we know that those out there like Clooney, Julia Roberts, and among others, they will say whatever they have to say to protect their beliefs and to really kind of just put their voice out there at all costs, but they do it in the worst way possible. This is exactly why I criticize these actors, is that they have this ego, they have this self-absorbed personality about how they view the real world outside of their own bubble. Now, with many celebrities within the film industry already becoming unhinged and tainting their own careers by making the most ridiculous statements, one of those now involves actor George Clooney, who responded to the ongoing criticism towards celebrities and their beliefs and views in an attempt to convince the general public. Clooney delivered the following: "Look, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I have not heard the argument before about how we are different than any other person, because quite frankly, we are no different than any other middle-class person from any state in this country. I see things differently. You call them, and one like myself, a celebrity. I call myself a voice. I think that's the power we have that separates us from everyone else below, is that we have a powerful voice to speak volumes as to what is right and what is wrong. So for the public to judge us based on our income and houses is very weak as an argument and comes from a warped view of the world and how society functions. All I can say is that whether you are an actor, singer, director, or whatever, we do matter and we are very important. So I don't need to be lectured about how celebrities don't matter. They do matter, and the public needs the voice coming from those like us. What would the world do without those of a high status that have a large following that are known to the world for the greater good and provide their worldviews and beliefs? It's a very important thing, and I think it's wrong, just absolutely wrong, for the public to judge us just because we have fame, money, and status. It's the weakest argument of all. That's what separates us, is that you need us and we need you. That's the value of having a platform and a following, is that you can get your views out there and what matters and the truth to be told. You can't just rely on your neighbor. I have had many experiences in this industry, and I have gotten the chance to know a lot of talent. Julia Roberts, there's a name you may know. The criticism she got was not only unfair based on what everyone was saying about her, but it was also offensive, and quite frankly, I think this shows us just how divided our country is and how we need to do better. Starting with how the public views those with high status, especially those with talent, those like Julia or those like actors like myself. I have gotten the chance to know many actors in this business, and they are people that the public need to hear the truth. So I don't think I need to sit here and listen to criticism about how celebrities function. Guys, let me just stop here about what George Clooney is spewing now. He is acting unhinged, unlike any other time before, and I think that you're going to see more and more of this, especially from those like how he mentioned Julia Roberts, and you're going to see more coming from Jimmy Kimmel. Never was a fan of the guy, by the way. You're going to see more about all of these different actors and actresses really putting their flawed voice out there. Now, here's the thing. The thing that I have a very big problem with this is the fact that he's treating the general public like they are below the Hollywood bubble, that they are below those with a high status, those with money and fame. Honestly, I think that the opposite is actually the real view of the world. Those that actually have, lived through a normal life are the real people with the real voice. Those that have neighbors that have their own beliefs are the ones with the real voice. So for him to criticize that you can't rely on your neighbor, and that you have to rely on celebrities, that you have to rely on those with a platform, and those that are, these gigantic famous actors and or actresses that have all this high status and all this money and all of these different platforms to provide their voice, the fact that he is making it very clear that you can't rely on your own little bubble, as he's trying to put it, your own little neighborhood, that you have to rely on the Hollywood bubble, right? The overall ideology coming from California and everything within the film industry specifically. So this is an interesting take, again, by George Clooney, and not in a good way, because I think that he's beginning to learn that people woke up, they don't care about what all these celebrities have to say, and that's my main criticism, by the way, guys, is that, look, you can like George Clooney all you want, you can like his movies, you can like him as an actor, that's fine. But when it comes down to how he views the general public, this is where I have a very big problem with the guy. I don't like him as a person, really. I don't like how he views the world. I don't like how he views people below the Hollywood bubble, as he's trying to put it. Nobody's below anybody, especially, those of actually attached to the film industry, alright? They are trying to make themselves seem like that they are all high and mighty is what it comes down to. But moving onwards, he goes on to conclude, so I don't think I need to sit here and listen to criticism about how celebrities function. Our status is another one's treasure. Like I say, we can provide a voice of truth and to offer our view of what's really going on in this country. I think what happened the other day was deeply upsetting and shows just how so many beliefs and the lies that have been thrown out there into the world. And that needs to be stopped. I ask everyone to trust those that have a platform. Don't just rely on your neighbor and their beliefs. So, again, with the neighbor business, he's saying you can't rely on your neighbor, you can't rely on your neighborhood or your small town to believe in what's actually, being voiced out there. You have to rely on celebrities, is basically his argument, and that's the most ridiculous argument that you can really see coming from those like George Clooney, Julia Roberts, and many others, by the way. There's a lot of celebrities beginning to melt down for obvious reasons why. And that's the problem I have. That's my main criticism about the film industry, about the Hollywood bubble, is that they act in such an unhinged behavior that it's just disgusting behavior to us, to regular people out there that really just want to live their lives in the best way possible. That's really what it all boils down to. But I would like to hear what everyone has to say about George Clooney. Are you really a fan of him as an actor? Do you actually support what he's saying and what he believes in, how he actually looks at the general public? And I would love to also hear what you guys have to say about Julia Roberts, because she's another one. She is another one, trust me on this, just like George Clooney. But I would like to see what you all have to say about this ongoing criticism in the Hollywood bubble, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.